Greetings there, fellow makers. I'm Bill, and I'm not in my shop. I'm here at Matterhackers in Southern California, along with
Allie.
This is Allie, a fantastic cosplayer, and one of my favorite costumes that you have is Nuka Girl.
Yes.
It's top notch,
Thank
and you figured it'd be a good idea for us to team up and make the Thirst Zapper.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
so looking forward to this.
This is really cool too. This is one of my favorite guns from the game. For those of you that don't know, it's a squirt gun. And this particular piece here, I modeled up in Fusion 360. In fact, I'll have a whole video, start to finish. It's about 5 hours long. That'll be up on our website. So if you want to learn every step of the way how I modeled this, you can go pick that video up and sit through all of that. But what we're gonna do today is finish and paint and assemble your Thirst Zapper. So we're gonna start by doing a lot of sanding.
Woo!
So the pieces here, I'll just quickly go over the printing, which you're just starting to learn about 3D printing here at Matterhackers. These are printed on a couple of different machines. This was done in the Ultimaker here, and it was done in the Matterhackers Pro PLA filament. It turned out pretty great. These little bits here, I printed extra of these screws because I'm sure I'm gonna lose some of them. And these are again on the Ultimaker and the Pro PLA. We've done some finishing work on these earlier here at Matterhackers. In fact, if you guys want to learn an in-depth bit on doing finishing for PLA, I did a video with Matterhackers, so we'll link to that. You should go check it out. Some of these other parts though were printed on a different machine. This is an ABS plastic, and it was printed on the Sigma 3D printer. So basically what we want to do today is to finish these up so they look nice and smooth for the paint that we're going to apply later. And what that means, well, it's hard to skip, it's a lot of sanding. So we brought our elbow grease today and we're going to get to work. So why don't you start with that piece there, that's the back end of the gun there. And we have some sandpaper. We're starting with a 220 grit sandpaper here. And what we're gonna try and do is just knock down all the lines that we see that are on there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna cut up a piece of paper for you so you can get to work. There we go. And I will do the same. So what you wanna do then is just, I like to work across the grain, like so, to try and knock back any of the lines that are on there. So you can see the lines pretty obviously once you start to rough it up, and if you sand it a bunch until those lines mostly go away, that's the look we're going for. So there's your sandpaper.
Yay!
So you can get to work on that. I'm gonna start picking out some of these other pieces and getting to work. I think I'll start with the handle. And for mine, some of the spots that are a little bit more crusty from the printing process, I will use this file to start knocking those back, and then I'll go over it with my sandpaper. Now, what I found is if you have a very large piece that you need to sand, if you can get a helper to assist you, like for instance, Alec from Matterhackers, you can just have him do it. Thanks, buddy. So we made a little bit of progress. Allie, you have the tail part of the gun. Looking pretty good. I've got the handle here pretty good. I'm rather happy with how that turned out. We're gonna keep sanding these pieces. Here, let me borrow that real quick. Very good. We're gonna keep sanding these parts, but as we do that, I'm gonna take this outside and hit it with some filler primer. This is a high build filler primer, and you can spray on a couple of layers and it should fill in the remaining layer lines that we have. So we'll spray that on and let it dry, and then it can be sanded again. So we're gonna go off and do that and continue sanding. Fantastic. We have made tons of progress. All of our pieces have been sprayed with a filler primer, and some of them are outside drying. Here are the two pieces we did earlier. Looking pretty good.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the process so far?
Not as intimidated.
Good.
Yeah.
Just happy to hear that. Very good. So next, what we're gonna do is sand it one more time, and that's just because there's a bit of texture left, and this filler primer has filled it in, but when we sand it down, we will remove the remaining texture. And what we'll be left with is a really nice smooth finish that we can paint. So more sanding with some 220 grit sandpaper.
Yay!
Very exciting.
Should I get different sandpaper?
Yeah, just sandpaper is a cheap commodity. Use fresh pieces as often as you need them. Also, while we were working on these, there were some spots that needed some extra love, and I filled those in with this spot putty. This is an air drying spot putty. You can use it to fill in larger gaps. So those pieces got puttied up, they got sanded, and then they got primered. I will sand this one up, and I think I want to try the steel wool. And
Why steel wool?
this is like a really higher grit of the sandpaper. Then what you can do with the steel wool is kind of polish the surface. So just use it to kind of buff what's left there, and you get a really nice shine. And we'll do that before we spray on our colored spray paint.
Nice.
I think I need a fresh piece of sandpaper too. Careful, Bill. Funny enough, too, the most recent shop injuries I've had have all been from working with 3D prints.
Really?
Yeah. The shards of plastic that come off can be really pointy. And then also using a knife to trim away like support material. When it lets go, the knife could potentially, let's say, go through your thumb.
Oh.
But that's about the worst. I think the worst I've been hurt is hot glue.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's a good scar.
Yeah, it is.
You want to show off your battle wound there? Pretty good.
Gross. Yeah, I remember I was up, like an odd hour of the morning when I was a teenager, just hanging out in my mom's dining room and working on a crafting project, and I just started screaming bloody murder and woke my mom up. And she's like, what happened? And I showed her my thumb. You could see all the way like to the white part of the meat, and you could see the red like vein blood vessels through it. I'm like, what do I do? Like, it's just like a piece of hot glue on it. Do I take it off and like pull off more skin?
Do you touch it with your other hand?
Do I like
your other hand?
stick it on something? Do I run it under water? And so eventually just ran it under cold water to get it solid, and then just had to peel it off. And then it blistered, and then it scarred, and just like, it looks like I'm missing a chunk of my body. I have another one like that on my inner calf.
Yeah. More hot glue?
Yep. Because I was sitting and I was working and it just dripped and I didn't even see it and just fell right on my inner calf. Like that.
So I'm pretty happy with how this one's turning out here. I'm going to buff it with a little bit of this steel wool to kind of take care of whatever's left, and it gives it a nice shine. And then this piece, I think, will be ready for paint. So that looks pretty all right. How's your piece going?
That piece is being a jerk.
Yeah, I think that'll be okay.
Covered up by paint.
Yeah, and also we'll just put that on the bottom. So here, this is Allie's piece here, and I'm just gonna give it a quick once over with this steel wool, and we'll see how it looks. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome.
That's really smooth. It's nice.
Yeah. Then you can just wrap the piece in steel wool and just twist it. And give it a buffing there. I think that looks all right.
Yeah.
We'll know once we put some paint on there. Cool. All right, so we have some more pieces that we're gonna sand, and then we'll be ready to paint. So that's what's happening next. We have put a couple of hours and elbow grease into it. Everything's looking pretty great and shiny. Everything got buffed with this steel wool a bit, and I think we're ready for paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my thought process. Okay. This is how I designed everything. This big piece here is supposed to be red, so it's separate. This needs to be red, and then this needs to be red, and these pieces need to be red. So they'll get painted red.
Okay.
These pieces need to be a silver metallic color, actually, that one there. And that way we can paint that red, paint that silver, and then glue it later, and we don't have to do any masking.
Yay.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll take these outside, we'll paint these guys red, give them a couple of nice coats, paint these silver, give them a couple nice coats, and then we'll wait for them to dry, and then we can put this all together.
It's gonna be so cool.
All right.
I can't wait.
That's the plan, and hopefully it goes well. You guys will have already seen it happening, but we're in the past now. And we're optimistic.
Yeah.
At last, we're at the home stretch.
Yay!
We've let the paint dry and had lunch. And now it's time to put this guy together. I've already put the handle in. It was a little bit of a tight fit, but we made it work. And now we're gonna glue the rest of it together. And you can see that these pieces, the way that they're lined up, now we don't have to do any masking. We can just start gluing them together.
Yeah, so smart.
Yeah.
Great design.
Thanks. I should get my glue. I don't.
Oh yeah.
So, for the glue up, we have super glue and an activator so that it cures fast.
Oh.
Because I'm impatient. So, this is stuff just from the hobby store. Wherever you go, they'll probably have something similar. So I'll just show you how it goes. We'll put these two parts together here, and I'll put it in camera. These parts are gonna go together. I don't need a lot of glue, so I'm gonna put just a touch, actually. I'll put it on the back of this, like so. And then spray a tiny bit of the activator down where it's gonna go. And when those touch, they'll cure right away. So that goes like that. Push it in, and now it's good to go.
Look at that.
That's it. So we'll do the same thing on this. If you want to put a little bit of super glue on that, I will spray the back of this. Like I said, you don't need much.
Like that?
Just like that. And then this should lock right on. Like so.
Wow, look at that.
And it's all done, and the cap there doesn't need to be masked. It's all painted.
Woohoo!
So that can go on the body of the gun now.
On the back, right?
Very good, yep. So we'll do more of the same. Let's keep that there. Put the glue in the circle. I'll spritz this. Like so. And then this should fit right in there. I'm gonna make sure that these line up. I know from the reference that these should be at 45 degrees. Oh. So I'm going to make sure that it's lined up appropriately. Press that in. And it appears to be in there. Awesome.
Look at it coming together.
Yeah. So we'll keep working on the back here. There are some little vent louver things. An important thing that we learned is the spray paint adds a little bit to the thickness. So sometimes parts don't want to quite fit because the spray paint is in there. So you can actually take an X-Acto knife and just scrape some of that away to give yourself some more room. And we can soften the edges on this a little bit. Just knock it back a bit. Again, there's spray paint on this piece too, to make sure that everything will hopefully slide together much easier. So we'll just clean this up a little bit. And those two pieces should pop together. And I think we want to put the back in first.
Yes.
See if that wants to fit at all. Like that. And then press that down. Perhaps persuade it a little bit.
Beautiful.
Just like that.
Ah.
And again, how much of a pain would that be to try and mask that?
That would be so much time.
So why don't you grab some sandpaper and just sand the edges of that, and I will clean up the inside of the other two of these. And just persuade it in there. No glue necessary.
That's nice. It's just so well done. You don't need any glue for those pieces. Look at that.
It's so awful.
It's so pretty.
So these plugs that go in the back here, they do need to get glued down, and because we painted these areas, we want to scrape away a bit of that paint so that there's something for the glue to stick to. We don't have to do much, just scratch down to the paint like that. And same thing over here, or scratch down to the plastic. Like that. And then we can do the same thing where we spray these and put glue on, just put a tiny bit of glue.
Okay.
Here, we'll try and get it on camera. So just put a little glue in there, and I will spray that and do that. And same thing with this one. Like that.
Wow.
Pretty cool. All right, now let's assemble the barrel. So we can get those parts over here by this camera. We'll start by you put glue on there,
okay,
and I'll spray this. So this can go in there, like that. All right, so you glue that and I'll spray this. And we can go together like that. All right, glue.
Glue.
Spray. Attach.
Bam.
Like that. Glue.
Spray.
Like that. Cool. And then here, I'll do the glue on this one. It's going to be just around the rim here. And then I'll spray the inside of the cap. And that should lock right down. Just like so.
Wow.
And there's the barrel. All right. One last thing. If you want to glue up that,
okay,
I will spray the end of this. And then we put this together. And this doesn't need to be in any particular orientation. It should just lock right in. Like that. Hooray! Yay! It's all put together. That looks awesome. There is one more step. We have to put the logo on.
Can't be without that.
And fortunately, I made some stencils.
Ah!
Cool.
Oh, that's so tough.
So these here are stencils that I designed in Inkscape and I cut out on my vinyl cutter. They're gonna go on there and then we will spray it with white paint and then peel it off. And then that will complete the Nuka Cola logo. So I will show that right now.
Yeah, how are we gonna keep from getting white paint everywhere?
We'll have to mask the rest of it off.
Okay.
There we go. So this is the vinyl sticker, and I'm going to try and lay it down in a manner that is kind of accurate to where it ought to be. And that gets laid down. And we peel away the protective transfer tape on there. And that leaves our stencil. Then we just have to manipulate this so that it lays flat against the surface. And we just want to make sure that it's all touched down everywhere.
Yeah. No.
And then we will mask the rest of this off and we can spray it.
Cool.
So we're gonna do that.
Sweet.
Get to your ships, cadets!
Yeah, hey guys, we made a Thirst Zapper. Check it out. And just like that, we have the Thirst Zapper all done, and Nuka Girl here to show it off.
Woo!
Went pretty good, I think. Went all right. We did this in record time.
Agreed.
Paint's still a little bit tacky, but that's okay. You'll let it dry, and then if you want, you could even do some weathering on it, dirty it up a tiny bit.
Wait, it's gorgeous already. I am so grateful. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yay!
This was a ton of fun. If you guys are interested in seeing how I modeled this, I'll have a video on our website where you can go check that out. Allie, thanks so much for helping out and hanging out today.
Thanks so much, Bill. I had a blast.
Absolutely. Where can people find the stuff that you do on the internet?
Sure. Only Alec Cat on Instagram. That's ONLYALICAT. Cat. Meow.
You got it. And we will link all of that down in the description, along with all the tools and materials that we used on this build. It's all for today. We're gonna go save the wasteland. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our new weekly prop and costume tutorial videos. For more goodies, head over to our website where you'll find blueprints, tutorial books, articles, and more. We also have a second channel for our Q&A show and extra behind the scenes videos. Thanks again and happy crafting.